start with making an espresso martini. We're going to go ahead and pull a shot of espresso. You want to measure out 2 ounces of the espresso with a jigger. If you don't have a jigger, then find something else that you can measure it with. And you want to get those 2 ounces and go ahead and pour it into a mixer or even into a cup. If you're not going to be shaking it, you could also stir it.
Can I do something for you, Mr. Bond?
Just a drink. A martini, shaken, not stirred.
So typically, someone would probably be using vodka and a mix of Kahlua, a coffee liqueur. However, since I decided to use espresso, that's going to be taking the place of the Kahlua and the vanilla in the place of the sweetener that you'd normally get from the Kahlua. Alternatively, you could also do it with simple syrup. I just personally like it with vanilla. And instead of vodka, we're actually going to be using our coffee liquor that I got from Wayward Sons, the distillery that I interviewed that is out of here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that makes liquor from distilled coffee. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get 2 ounces of this. I can already smell the coffee in it. And then we're going to go ahead and do 1 ounce of vanilla. Again, you could do simple syrup, and alternatively, you could do 1 ounce of Kahlua. I might do a little bit less on the espresso, though. Maybe do like 1 ounce of espresso and 1 ounce of Kahlua, since it is going to add that coffee flavor to it. In the case of using our distilled coffee, it's definitely going to add more of a coffee flavor to it. So I personally added just a splash of cream to it. You don't have to. Typically, an espresso martini is not going to be made with any sort of cream. And if you add a lot, you're kind of going more into the realm of a White Russian. But I mean, think of it sort of just like, how do you take your coffee? Do you take it black? Or do you want a little bit of cream? Since I already knew it was going to be stronger using this, I went ahead and just added a splash of cream to it. So go ahead and shake it. I'm going to go ahead and shake it pretty well. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and get out our glass. Now, typically, you would want to use a martini glass. I don't own a martini glass, but we're going to go ahead and strain the drink. This is the type of drink where you don't want the ice to actually be in there. So if you are making this not in a Boston shaker, you can always go ahead and just strain out the ice from whatever glass you were stirring it with. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the tasting itself. Oh, so right off the bat, I definitely get the espresso in the smell. You get that roastiness. I'm also getting some sweet notes from it. The vanilla is coming through a little bit. To be honest, it actually reminds me a little bit of cold brew. Kind of has like a bit of a cold brew kind of smell. And on that note, if you want to use cold brew for an espresso martini, you can certainly use cold brew concentrate. It actually makes for a very smooth espresso martini. Let's go ahead and taste it. It's actually really, really good. It's a very nice mix. Again, I wasn't sure how strong this was going to be, but I think it adds a contrast in the coffee flavor. If I'm remembering correctly, this actually was made as a distilled cold brew coffee. That's probably why I'm getting a lot of that cold brew in the flavor profile. It definitely is giving me kind of an espresso roastiness, but also a cold brew smoothness. I think this is a really perfect liquor to use for making something like an espresso martini or a White Russian. Try it yourself at home. See what you think. I highly recommend trying it with the coffee from Wayward Sons. See if you like their liquor or not. But if not, you can always do vodka and Kahlua or some sort of other coffee like espresso or cold brew.